bit, sort of like layers. Sort of like we're working with an onion or I'm peeling the onion. And occasionally it will be so direct, it's kind of scary. And I'll give you an example of that. The other day I was speaking with a girlfriend of mine, and she lives in Colorado. And she said to me, Ange, she said, I have a friend of mine whose daughter's in the hospital. And I said, oh, okay. I'm just thinking it's a normal conversation. She's like, no, you don't understand. She said she's in the hospital and she's actually in restraints, but she's like Houdini. She keeps getting out of the restraints. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And she's like, no, can you look and see what's wrong with her? I said, oh, okay. I mean, sometimes a little down, but fluid in. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem, I can do that. So I connected to this young girl's energy, and I said to her, she's about 23. She said, yep, she's 23. And so I described her to make sure I'm connecting to her energy, because quite easily, if I was reading your energy, I can read your energy at the same time, so I may not be able to tell the difference, right? So I always try to do a couple of things that confirm it. And for what happened in this instance, I started to look, and she said, Ange, is she crazy? And so I said, oh, that's a good question. So I took a look, and I was like, no, she's not. And she said, well, what's wrong with her then? I said, well, let me look a little further. And I said, heat. She's like, what? I said, heat. She's like, okay. Heat. And I'm like, yes, heat from, I'm like, heat from brain, heat from brain on fire. And she was like, what? And I'm like, brain on fire. And that is the actual, sometimes they'll be so accurate, they'll actually show me a sentence, a word. And they literally were telling me brain on fire. And she said, what does that mean? I said, I don't have a clue. I have no clue. So a couple of weeks went by and she wrote me an email. She said, oh my God, Angie, you were so right, it's scary. And one of the things you may not know is that when I do this work, if I've had a reading with you, I don't remember hardly a damn thing after you leave. Because you know why? This is what I think. I believe that because the message is not for me, because it's for you, it's not for me to remember, right? So when she told me that I was right, I was incredibly curious. I was like, okay, I have no idea how I'm right. And so I got to talk to her on Skype, and she told me, she said, Ange, she said, I just talked to my friend's father, and what she has is I'm going to get the letters wrong, I think it's MDNA encephalitis of the brain, which in medical terms, they actually coin it as brain on fire. So if you were to, right now, take out your phones and Google brain on fire, it would actually come up as a book a woman wrote, as probably the first Google page, who had this, which is apparently incredibly rare. And so that is how spirit works through me. We literally take this journey together. When they tell me the information, it is not my opinion. It is not my viewpoint. And trust me, if you've known me from before, you'll know that I have pretty strong viewpoints. So, and so in this instance, in this evening, that's kind of the way I work. And so I will see stories, I will see movies, sometimes I will be presented with words and sentences, that kind of thing. We literally take this journey together.